In a world that is definitely feeling to be increasingly negative and filled with hate, I wanted to share a video today about how I deal with negative comments and haters. I know that a lot of creative people, and I would categorize YouTubers as being very creative people. A lot of us can be very sensitive souls, definitely myself included. This is a very real thing that we're faced with, and if you're early on in your YouTube channel, maybe it's something that you're afraid of, but you haven't necessarily had to deal with yet. Or maybe you are in the trenches getting negative comments and it's hurting your heart. So I just want to share some of the things that I have kind of put in place to safeguard myself, my heart, my sensitive soul, and hopefully some of this stuff resonates with you. I wanted to talk actually a little bit about negativity bias. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I can get a lot of positive, lovely comments, but that one comment that is really nasty seems to stick in my mind. I can get into a loop thinking about it and be really distressed by it. Negativity bias is a very, very real thing, and actually evolved to help us survive, but it can also make us very, very anxious. And I read this article in the Washington Post. Negativity bias is important to human functioning since it helps protect us from harm, but in some individuals, negativity bias can be correlated with stress, depression, and anxiety. Alison Ledgerwood, a professor of psychology at the University of California at Davis, said, if you're walking to get water and you encounter a tiger, it's a great idea to stay focused on the tiger. It's a very, very important evolutionary thing for us to focus on the negative. Nowadays, most of us are not necessarily having to worry about tigers, but we still latch onto negative things in the same way we would be focused on that tiger. That is why it can feel so huge. Before I kind of understood that it's an evolutionary, very important part of us, I would kind of beat myself up about that and be like, oh man, I'm so how pathetic to feel so crap from something that some stranger said on the internet, right? But it's designed to protect us. But what that can also mean for YouTubers is it stops us from being creative. It stops us from creating and any other kind of creative pursuit. I know the kind of fear of the negativity and fear of haters, fear of people not liking what we have to say or not liking the way we do something, it can really, really get in the way. So here's some of the stuff that I do to help myself. This is very contrary to what a lot of big YouTube teachers will teach people, to respond to all of your comments, to have comments on. I think you should actually do what works best for you, not what works best for the algorithm. And you are going to have a longer creative journey if you can do what serves yourself in regards to dealing with negative comments. So for example, I have this channel, which is a channel about helping people with YouTube stuff. And then I have another channel where my wife and I are sharing our IVF journey. There is an awful, awful, awful lot of homophobic comments that come our way, particularly in YouTube Shorts. So to safeguard myself from that, because I know that that's where the majority of the negative comments come from, because those videos get sent far and wide, and naturally there's going to be people that have very different worldviews to us when a video is shown to 50,000 people. So I have actually turned comments off on YouTube Shorts. That doesn't mean that people can never get in contact with us if they want to. Of course, they can find a way to share positive or negative things, but I know that that's where the majority of that stuff comes from. So yeah, I've turned it off. I don't care. I don't care that that's going to reduce my engagement potentially. I care about making sure I don't get my heart hurt too much. Other thing is, there are times in my journey as a parent where I don't have them off because I am in a place where I'm able to handle it more. So if I'm already lacking sleep, which as a parent of a 16-month-old child, I am lacking sleep, and also the fluctuating hormones of parenthood. I don't need to be dealing with some stranger on the internet having an opinion about me and who I am, right? So I can turn off the comments. Does that mean I'll always have them turned off? No, because I also think it's really important to, for people to be able to leave nice comments as well. You do have that ability on YouTube to turn off your comments. So if you're finding that you're in a place that you can't deal with it, like, I don't think that that should be something that you have to deal with. Like, I see there's a lot of discussion about this of like, oh, just ignore it. Like, any engagement's good engagement. And it's like, well, no, not if it's making you feel like crap. It's not good, I don't think. I mean, I'd love to know what you all think. Let me know what your experience has been in the comments. But yeah, I'm just like, no way. There's negative comments that are things that we can learn from, right? Like maybe someone's saying, your audio sucks on your videos. And it's like, oh, that's a bit harsh, but like also, yeah, okay, maybe I need to get a better microphone, or, you know, maybe I'm not using my microphone how I should be, or whatever it is. Like, so there's comments like that that's like kind of constructive negative feedback, right? What I'm talking about is stuff that's just like a personal attack. That you don't need that. You don't need to engage with that. That's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. Like, there's enough negativity in the world that we don't need to be like just letting anyone say anything. And like I used to, sometimes I would, particularly with the homophobic comments, like I'd respond, I'd bite back and stuff. And that can be fun if I'm in the mood for a little bit of a, you know, whatever. But yeah, when people are attacking my family unit, like, no, no, there's no room for that on my YouTube channel, because that YouTube channel is about helping people that are like us feel like, you know, they're not alone and like there's hope, and there's all this nasty stuff in the comments. I'm not leaving that there. That's ridiculous. Anyway, be conscious of where you're at emotionally. And if you are not in a place to hear, even if it is sort of constructive negative feedback, if you're not in a place to deal with that, turn them off, turn comments off, even if it's temporary. Doesn't mean you never have them on again, but if you can't handle it at that time, just turn them off. Who cares? Who cares if it drops your engagement a bit? Taking care of ourselves and our mental health and our well-being and our beautiful hearts is way more important than getting a few more views on a video. That's what I reckon anyway. The other thing that is just an absolute no-no for me these days, that I am totally guilty of having done heaps up until, honestly, I had a baby and started losing sleep anyway. I was losing sleep over a nasty comment or even just a negative constructive feedback comment. I was losing sleep over that because what I was doing was picking up my phone at like 10 o'clock at night and looking at my YouTube comments. No, none of that. None of that. I am like a firm believer. This is hard to do. I still do it sometimes, but I really, really believe that we are so much better off if we just put our phones away, put our computers away, and spend the evening unwinding before we go to bed. Like, I just think engaging with social media, engaging with anything other than a book or our partners or our families or whatever, engaging with anything on a phone is like totally inviting a lack of sleep. There have definitely been times where I've been like, oh, I might just check my YouTube analytics just one more time before I have a little sleep. And then there's something there that's like, makes my blood boil or hurts my feelings or whatever. It's reasonable that that stuff can hurt our feelings or make our blood boil. Don't engage with it just before you're about to sleep or before you're about to do something, you know, have a special day with your child or like, you know. YouTube has to have its own chunk of time when you're engaging with it. It's not when you're about to have an important meeting or like whatever it is. Be picky and choosy about when you engage with YouTube. For me, it's never after 5 p.m. That's the goal. I still sometimes absolutely like, I might just have a cheeky look. And then it's my bad. If I can't sleep that night because I read something that spun me out, because that's how my brain works, then that's on me. If the cutoff's 5 p.m, then you still got some time to unwind and deal with whatever that is before you lay your head down to rest. But yeah, let me know. Have you ever lost sleep over a nasty comment? Regarding the negativity bias, that's a thing. We could get 100 great comments and one nasty one. Our brain's going to focus on the nasty one because that's our brain perceives that as being the threat, right? That's always going to be part of us. But there is a way that we can kind of unwind from that a bit, like lessen that a bit. The negative stuff's always going to come at us in the news, in the world, in our comment section, whatever. On this channel, on the other channel, I get emails and messages and stuff from people saying how much what I'm doing is helping them. The best thing that we can do is find ways to help people and then practice gratitude. Keep those positive comments. You know, when people say something like that the videos that you're making are helping them in some way, like we have people around the world sending us messages saying that our videos help them feel less alone in their own IVF journeys. And that for me, when I get those messages, I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful and so special. And like having those people that I'm helping front of mind, I know that negative comments will come, but I know I have these people that I am helping, and that on this channel as well, like, you know, this silly Australian is making YouTube videos and having an impact in the world. You can as well. It doesn't matter what your story is. It doesn't matter what your experience is. There are people that you can help. So I'm all about helping people help people on their channels. I think it's such a wonderful way that we can lean away from the negativity a bit and focus on how we can make positive change in the world. Like, you know, there might be people leaving homophobic comments on my other channel, but I'm also helping people to feel like joy and hope, you know, like having there be a balance. There's got to be a balance. Just having those really practical things in place of just not letting comments come through at all if you can't handle it. Like, which it shouldn't be a bad thing. I'm saying if you can't handle it, which I think we hear sometimes as being a negative thing, so I can't handle it. I think it's a superpower to acknowledge when we can't handle something, and not handle it then. Don't open the comments up then. Don't respond to comments when you if you're ever feeling angry when you read a comment. That is not a good place to positively engage with people from, you know? So these are some of the things that I do. I would love to know what things you do. And hey, I also wanted to mention, I have a Facebook group that is like a really beautiful community of YouTubers, and I really like to make sure it stays positive and helpful and uplifting. So if you want to be part of like a really supportive community of people that are just so excited to be growing their YouTube channels together, make sure you check that out. I'm going to link it in the description in the top pinned comment of this video. And I would love for you to leave a comment here. Let me know what your channel is about, what your experience has been. It can sometimes feel like a really lonely journey on YouTube, but it so doesn't have to be. When you reach out to people who are on a similar journey to you, we might not have the same channel niche. We might be coming from different walks of life, but we have this thing in common. We have something that we're wanting to share, and we're creative people, probably pretty sensitive people. We can come together and, you know, unite over a mutual experience of feeling hurt by a stranger, or even sometimes a bot on the internet. YouTubers and content creators are just such amazing people for being so willing to put themselves out there and create stuff, even though we have this fear of the negativity, and the negativity bias is such a real thing that can really, really slow us down and make us feel yucky. But when we come together, beautiful, beautiful things can happen. We see that we're not alone in feeling like crap when someone says, your videos suck, or whatever. Together, I think we do better. That's good. You're all great. Be kind to one another. It's, I think, a good thing to do.